I am being called by God to open up my channel that is coursing through me right now, and of course the astrological alignment pairs well. The moon just moved into Sagittarius, which is my moon. We're still in the lingering effects of that Libra full moon, which, touches on dynamics of relating, right? Not just romantic, just relationship. How do we have relationship to things around us? Okay, and this can be spoken to in a physical sense. You're like, oh, I lit this, but I just throw it over here. But what I'm speaking to and what I'm going to be speaking to is the deeper energetic matrices in which this world has previously been functioning in and is still functioning in, particularly in reference to social dynamics. Something that I've shared a little bit on recently is my evolution through realizing that we were born into the world with a completely inverted idea of what relating is, and also what we were told of what it means to be a being, like a social being, what it means, because it ties in very intimately and delicately into whether or not you're a good person, whether or not you're succeeding. Be like, oh, okay, well, if you have lots of friends and you go out and you eat out and you do drink and you're invited to all the things, then you're a good person, you're doing your job. It's a mess. This matrix goes really deep into the core identity of people. And so this is why when some humans choose to individuate, the individual is a very, very huge threat to the tribe, to the group mind. And normally what prevents someone becoming an individual is the fear of the group, of the tribe. But it's actually the opposite, because the people that are actually afraid are the people that are needing to group together to feel safe. And it goes all the way back down to like when we were living in, packs and tribes, and to actually be alone was the potential of you dying was higher. Now it's not so much. Now what it threatens in the collective hive mind is illusion. The individual threatens illusion. It threatens the social systems that promote dysfunction. And I say this compassionately, but weakness as well. Now, I'm not here to be understood by everyone, which has been a very huge relief for me in the last month. I understand who I'm speaking to now. I'm here to just let this, I can't even, if I can actually speak, the truth speak through me. My body knows this, my voice knows this, and the right ones will hear it like a bell. Ta-ding! Now, why am I bringing this up? Because as I have crossed a certain threshold vibrationally and frequency-wise, and I don't just mean this conceptually, I mean my body is now resonating and living and producing a different matrix. One where, because I've been devoted to this growth and the healing of myself, I have not caved to fulfill other needs of my human self to that, in front of my devotion to a new vibration, so that I have a new reflection and a new mirror of the type of people that can meet me in the level of coherence that I currently exist at. So the one thing about me is that even when I was a child, before I even had any coherence or awareness of any of this stuff, I had irrational responses to my presence. I wasn't even doing anything. Okay. But my energy was. And over time, I thought something was inherently fucking wrong with me. Not the case. It's crazy how far you'll gaslight yourself to believe that you must be the problem if so much collectively is telling you that you are. But it's actually a systemic problem. This is why I don't believe in necessarily one-on-one therapy the way that we perceive it, because it's let's sit here. Let's discuss what's wrong with you and get to the thing in you that's wrong. I'm pretty sure most of what we're dealing with is systemic issues because energetically we're in really whack-ass webs. So now that I'm older and I've done the work and I find joy and even pleasure in confronting and facing the darkest parts of my psyche and end up laughing on my knees at the end of a darkness sensorial research exploration, I've come to find that contending with the truth, contending with the hard truths, the difficult truths, can actually be an enjoyable thing. I'm seeing more clearly now than ever about the social dynamics around me and how it's based on performance and not presence. And we're moving from a highly reliant world built on what we see, physical, material. What we see is what it is. No. And as the planet continues its evolutionary process, and since we are organic intelligence nodes on Gaia, we are not spared from the evolutionary process. And the evolutionary process is bringing us back into our extrasensory perception, which is a natural thing. I don't know if y'all know this, but we're actually superhumans. What we call super is just innate design of the human body when it's not inundated with false programming. And so what's happening collectively, and to each their own in their own ways in different dimensions, is everyone is starting to tune back into the energy behind the form, because ultimately that is what's building the material reality. This is why when we create things over and over again in the physical but aren't actually tending to the energetic architecture of what in which it was built from, we perpetuate the same fucking things, the same social structures, the same just structures, everything. It's just and so we're moving into a world where these skills are going to be fine-tuned and needed to be acknowledged and needing to be nourished, Because your biggest and greatest friend is discernment. It's funny, we live in a world that demonizes judgment. They're like, oh, well, if you're judging someone, then you're a bad person. But it also thrives on judgment because that's what's happening. But because of that and this negative connotation with the word judgment, we have forgotten about discernment. And let me tell you, you need to be fucking discerning. And in some occasions, even judgmental. Not judgmental in the essence that I'm coming from an unclear place and I'm judging you from the murky aspects of my subconscious I haven't navigated, but judgment based on, there's some skills that need to be offered through the lens of judgment, through the lens of discernment, to decide what perpetuates and what does not perpetuate. I'm going to keep lighting this because it's very helpful for me. And so, from this energetic awareness, I see it happening. But my God, we live in such a whack-ass realm. Not only because we now have like social media, which is a whole other level of masking, right? But also just identity culture in general. Like self-obsessed culture in general. People are just inherently self-obsessed in the Western world. And I find that most of our problems come from constantly being self-obsessed rather than just caring about the things around you, caring about others around you, caring about building things or healing for other people around you or just the planet. Yeah, it's cool. Our minds are complex and beautiful and deserve all of the reverence and time to be explored. Vast, unique, beautiful, and also get the fuck over yourself. Get over yourself. Build something for someone else, okay? Okay. And I tell myself this as I've been working through years and years of conditioning that I don't have anything worth sharing, that I don't have the right of sharing it, and I don't deserve to be seen. Okay. So coming out of this amnesia of like just being like, oh, well, it looks like that, so it must be that. No. People are being like, it looks like that, but you feel its true form, okay? We're starting to digest more energetic information. There's the 5 senses. Those 5 senses have senses off of that. like just keeps fractalizing off, right? The more access you have to your sensorial body, the more perception and information you are receiving as the bioorganic computer that you are. Because we are the first and original technology. We've just been inundated with viruses and outdated operating systems. And as I mentioned, Gaia's evolutionary process is going through updates. And if we are not updating, if those old programs that bind themselves to the old paradigm, which most of the social paradigm, most of the world, most relating has solely had to do with control. Hierarchy, control, manipulation, distortion, siphoning, just being a parasite. This doesn't always look as immediately obvious as you think it would. Be with me here because, my God, the amount of information running through my body. Okay, so yes, so when you open up these centers, which is a process that takes time and devotion to clearing out the old programs. And clearing out the old programs means meeting fear again and again and again. And I don't just mean intellectually, I mean literally your body flooding with the programs and facing that head on and allowing that to move through your body, because your cells actually have to clear out the old programs. And I'm not even just talking about the programs in this life, because that shit is inherited. Like, the shit that we're clearing out isn't just yours. And that's another thing that you have to be willing to face, because if you're the first person in your lineage that hasn't collapsed, it's on your shoulders, babe. It's on your shoulders. So once we have more access to these perceptual realities, hold on. Okay. Yeah, once you have access to these perceptual realities, you're able to actually see things for how they are, not as how they present. And let me tell you, that is a difficult place to be in a world that is propped up on illusion. Hi, I'm doing a video right now, so can you...
I'm just using the bathroom.
Okay, I'm just letting you know. Can you close the door?
Yeah.
Thank you. So that's a difficult place and position to be in with that level of sight in a world that is literally reliant on illusion. Whether or not it wants to acknowledge that's the case, it is. So what does that mean? To be a coherent being walking around the world. And for me, it looks like every single day I walk into reality and I interact with reality and interact with other people's realities, and I'm not seeing what they're presenting on a physical level. I'm digesting the reality of their auric field. I'm digesting the patterns that is producing what they're choosing, what they're emanating as. And let me tell you, most people are functioning in a way, whether unconscious or consciously, to override your reality, override your system. Now, this is why the individual is a threat to the tribe, because you're not able to be overpowered. I always say, I'm just opening up my notes. I always say, well, not always, I recently have started saying, I am not a safe space. Okay, I'm not a safe space. A lot of people in my past and in my history have tried to use these tactics on me where their inability to meet me in the truth, their inability to meet me in themselves, their inability to meet me, or unwillingness to meet me in clarity and to face. It's more like creating the container for truth to live, right? A lot of people say they want that. They don't, because it's not just this victim perpetrator situation anymore. It's let's get to the marrow. And a lot of people have tried to be like, act like they've spared me from the truth I cannot handle, which is fucking hilarious, because that's really just them not wanting to be seen and witnessed in the truth. When everything in my relational dynamics, I'm obviously prioritizing the truth. Not only am I like fundamentally inspirational through that to all of these dynamics in which they acknowledge, they then like, when it gets to a certain point, it's like, oh, I'm just not the safe space. It's like, no. The thing that I'm done with in my life is moving past the middle and pulling people towards me. That is what I've been doing for a long ass time. Tending, feeling, perceiving beyond most, and like making sure the room is okay. Like, because I sense the energy, I know exactly about this and this. So I'm like tending. No. Now I'm just a coherent pillar. And because of that, it's very intimidating to disembodied people who are still relying on outdated programs of control and illusion and masks in order for safety, belonging, etc., etc. I just don't want to make this too long, so I'm trying to go back to my notes right here. I feel like this has been pretty fluid so far, but oh yes. Okay, so when I say I'm not a safe space, it's like there's people that have used this as an excuse to not meet me in truth. And that's like they make it about me. When in reality, in like a large part of my past, when people have actually had the wherewithal and the courage to approach me, it's really not about approaching me, it's about approaching themselves. Trusting themselves in vulnerability, true vulnerability. Trusting themselves in a mirror they know that they will receive the true reflection in, not distorted reflection. A lot of people's lives are reliant on the distortion, on the casual shit. Like, oh God, sorry, my brain, I swear. Becoming returning to the original blueprint of what a human should be and what we're moving towards is wild, because I really do feel very often like a very advanced computer. The way I perceive and receive and process information multidimensionally, multisensorially, sometimes it's just like, and I just am needing to make sure the channel is clear. I am not a safe space because I'm a true space. Okay, and when a world is built not on truth and it's built on illusion, they will try and say that I'm not the safe one. No, that's not what it is. And I have spent my whole life digesting the unwilling's shadow. And in regards to how I function as a person now and how I'm refining my vibration in order to have my reality match it, is the people that are in my close circle are not people that can talk to every single person about their issues with me, except with me. No, that's not, I'm not available for that anymore. I'm not available for these pseudo friendships or pseudo communities that are reliant on drama. They're like being feasted on by entities, and it's so easy for our weaknesses in each other to drag the weakness into it's so easy here. Come join me here. We don't have to be better. We don't have to be honest with ourselves, but we can just group up and be in denial and just feed our weakness, our illusions, and our disassociations, and make the person who's walking in coherence and true embodiment and sovereignty the problem. Like, I'm not available for that anymore in my life. And when it comes to people who are ready to step through that threshold, I am a mentor. I have gone to hell and back probably 700 fucking times. I have high Scorpio placements in my chart. I am very, very comfortable there. I get off from this process at this point. And a conversation that I had this morning with someone was just like, well, you need to have compassion, and it's not that I don't have compassion, it's that I have zero tolerance for receiving and accepting projections in order to control me, in order to perpetuate and prop up the illusion someone has around themselves. Okay, and this is why coherence and being an individual is a threat to group and hive mind, archetypal, egregoric, collective entities. People would rather join each other in their dysfunction than in coherence. And I get it, because I've been there. It's all a part of the process. You know what I mean? It's not about being perfect. It's about, what are you here to do? What are you here to do? Because I sure as hell ain't here to live in a perpetual hellscape of distortion. Because do you know that most of the harm in the world is coming from the simple act of human beings not being able to face themselves? And the desperate limbs and attempts that form from that to not allow the illusion to crash causes most of the harm. Like most of the abuse, manipulation, gaslighting, It is all these insane and futile and fearful attempts to make the world around each person morph, fall, collapse, accept their reality. And so this doesn't really work in the era we're going into, when people are starting to feel the true form of things. For me, I've gotten to a point where things aren't personal anymore. And it's so helpful. It's so fucking helpful, because as a 3-5 in human design, otherwise known as humanity's karmic mirror, the 5 is a projection placement. And props to you all, 3-5s or 5 placements out there. I was thinking about starting a group online, because y'all are badasses beyond belief. I know that to be true, because it is you're constantly digesting the shadows of the world. Like, you're constantly dealing with that. For me, in regards to where I'm going, in regards to my personal relationships, no, I'm going to be met in coherence now, in truth now. I'm not okay with anything other than that. In regards to someone who's ready to step through the threshold, I'm available as a mentor to help you to shed these illusions, these matrices, like these neural matrices that no longer serve us. And it's just like excuse me for jumping around. This is just how my mind's working right now. And hopefully it's trackable and followable and digestible. But it's just like, many call like safe familiar. You know what I mean? A lot of people's nervous systems are embedded into a familiarity, even if it's highly dysfunctional and harmful to them and other people. That's what they view as safe. So I'm not trying to be familiar. I'm not meant to be familiar. And it's just, I offer the kind of presence that awakens the soul, that awakens the thumos, the courage, the will, the spiritual fire to evolve. Because we're meant to evolve, guys. The earth is doing it. We have to do it, or else you get really fucking laggy. And trust me, if you look out here, you can really tell who's embracing the OS updates and who isn't. And it's crazy for me because I'm just sitting here like, it's not personal for me anymore because it's so collectively present. The patterns are predictable. The programs are predictable. Each person has their own little whatever the fuck as to why and how. But I'm just watching it play out. I'm like, and we glorify, I've always said this, we glorify people like Martin Luther King Jr., right? Like, even like now we'll like post his quotes. Oh, he stood for something. Want to know what happened when he was alive and doing that? He died. He was killed. Do you know how many people fucking hated him? How much the tribe mind, the hive mind went against him? It's the same fucking thing. The same people who will glorify the type of archetype will look at the people around them that are actually embodying that same archetype and fucking attack them. Because they're not fully sovereign in themselves. If you are not engaging with the subconscious, unconscious shadow part of your psyche and of your brain and of your body and of your soul, you are turning an eye away. And when you turn an eye away from that, that means something else is coming in. And if your identity is any type of knowing or unknowing, consensual, energetic contract with systems, external or energetically so, you are going to be used. And this is where, I was going to say unfortunately, but The Matrix, the movie The Matrix, again and again, reveals itself to me, not as the ultimate truth, but as an example of how energetic architecture is working. So in that film, in that series, what happens, what's his name? Agent Smith, Mr. Smith or whatever, what happens when Neo's running around the Matrix, right? Neo stands for someone who is individuated, someone who is becoming the one of coherence, the one who sees the programs, the one who breaks the code. What happens when he's running around it? All of the humans in the Matrix can be transformed into an agent in an instant when they see Neo. Okay, I experience this literally all the fucking time. And this is so important when you do get to this position, because you don't ever want to be hard and resentful, which I've gone through my iterations of that. But to have compassion for the fact that we are not living in a basic ass world of basic ass human shit. We're living in a highly coded energetic reality that is and has been influenced by multiple egregoric like viruses and programs, and each to their own individually, having to do with their bloodline and ancestral curses and all that stuff, but then collectively as well, just the program of reality, like and what we consent to. Like when we're born, we were like, we were born and then they told us stuff and they were like, this is the reality. Like, oh, it's actually not. It's not. It is only because we have consented to it. And so when you start breaking free from those webs, the karmic webs, and I posted something recently about this, and it's like a disruption. And so the Agent Smiths come out of the fucking woodwork, and that could be your mom, that could be your best friend, that could be whoever. And normally you would think that someone who's empowered, sovereign, free, has done the work, it would be an inspiration. And sometimes it is for the people who are also on the same path. But for the most part, it really reveals the gaps in other people. They feel like it's judgment. They feel all these certain ways about things. And for me, I'm just like burning through what I no longer need in order to create an actually coherent reality, so that what I'm building and producing from my reality projection field is secure and without distortion. And so this is why I say, like, my space is not safe. It's not here to be comfortable, because I'm not here to be comfortable. My like, what is the word I'm looking for? Like, my star is not comfort. And that is, to be honest, like in the Western world specifically, even in the spiritual community, what is the main goal of everybody around us? Comfort. We are never going to grow and evolve as a human species if our goal alone is comfort. Because we weren't born into this life to be comfortable. That's not what the human evolution process is about. You work on becoming comfortable in this process. I'm comfortable in it now. I find peace and enjoyment in it. And that is really important. That's really important. So pretty much, okay, I don't know where we're at in regards to timing. I am just not here to be, I'm a mirror that doesn't flinch. Like, I'm not going to be here to reflect back to you what the smallness of yourself or put up with the ways you're trying to gaslight, manipulate me, and control me, because my mirror is, and my light, because a lot of people are attracted to me because of my light. They don't understand that when you're attracted to light like that, you don't just show up and siphon it and like take from it without also being revealed in it, okay? The light is going to illuminate the distortion and the harmful behaviors that you have picked up in order to mold and bend and control liberated things in order to excuse your prison. Like, that's not me, so don't fucking come towards me for that. So yes, I'm just referencing my notes real quick. So sometimes I'm not even going to go into that right now, because that is a whole other branch of my work. But just like for me, like, this world is never going to get better if people's alliance to dysfunction and avoidance and addiction is higher than remaining true to integrity and truth and accountability and vulnerability. And this directly links back into like patterns with our families. Like, this is how families perpetuate bloodline curses. That shit is a spiritual force trying to move through so oppressively to perpetuate itself. And it takes one person to be like, I see this dysfunction. I see where y'all are trying to place me energetically so that this system can stay dysfunctional. No, you remove yourself. What happens? It falls apart. I just have to tell you right now, though, you're on this path, you're going to be the villain. You're gonna be the villain, but you're actually a superhero. And to each their own, each person on their karmic journey. I don't know how long it's going to take for some people, but in regards to that, I'm just speaking to the ones who are, in fact, ready to step through these thresholds and to individuate, because this ties directly into the collective astrology. We are entering the moon's nodes of Aries North Node, Libra South Node. Okay, so collectively what we're purging, and I'm speaking to Western astrology right now, is the shadow of Libra. So that means like literal codependency in every single form, in every single relationship. And I don't just mean with each other, I mean the way that we have relationship to our own selves, our own ideas of reality, the way, just codependency, like that. And also the Aries North Node is what we're moving towards, the light of Aries, which is I am, the individuation, it is the fire, it is the warrior, it is the sword with flame. Like, and in a time where our previous systems are collapsing around us and everyone's like, oh God, we're obviously going to need to erect different structures and systems. And like forever, I've been hearing it in the spiritual communities, like, we need community. We need community. And I have moved deeply into every single community structure and out. And let me tell you, people don't know what the fuck they're talking about when they're talking about building community, because we're still coming from it at very, very unclear, distorted places in ourselves. And the paradox of this is that the only way to actually truly build community is to individuate. It's the only way. You have to be able to approach community as an individual. And I don't mean I mean this in the sense of you've done the work and you've individuated and you're functioning and running your own codes and your own programs, and you're not self-sacrificing. You're not collapsing to belong. You're not feeding scarcity. You're not saying yes to things just because you think that there's not going to be enough. It means that you are making coherent choices, clear. You see, this is who I am. I don't merge with the field to belong. I am the field. And you can meet me here, or you can crumble and distort and project. You know what I mean? That's not... I am the living example of the next phase of relating. It's outside of harm. Okay, it's where we honor each other's truth. And I don't mean truth. Not everyone is coming from a state of truth. And this is why I don't believe in the spiritual notion of everything's a mirror. It's not true. Yes and no. When you get to a certain point, you realize most people do not have the capacity to be a clear mirror. Most of the time, what they're projecting is shit that they've undigested in themselves. And so you have to be the gatekeeper of your own realm, of your own soul. And you need to know what to receive and what not to receive. A lot of people will act like you should just take their fucking perception and receive it and internalize it. No. Most of the time that shit is just an undigested fucking shit from them. Excuse my language. This is not a personal event, by the way. This is just a collective illness. So that's what I'm trying to get across here. And I've been blessed to peek into the worlds of people that have large followings on Instagram or image, these personas in the world, where do not trust anything you fucking see just on point blank on what it seems like or what it looks like or what... the social world is highly based on association. It can seem really deep. It can seem really intimate. But let me tell you, most people are not fucking with truth. It doesn't matter if it looks like it is. The only way that you will know is by doing this work, cultivating the tools, opening up your sensorial perception to be able to receive more information about the energetic structures that are presenting themselves to you, and then to be able to decide from there what and who someone is, what and who something is, what its real intention is, whatever it is, and so this doesn't get this. Okay, well, do I want to say this? This doesn't gain you a lot of friends in the way of the old paradigm. Let me say that. It takes devotion. It takes so much dedication to yourself, your evolution, to God, to Gaia, to actually correct what has been inverted on this planet through your body, through your cellular matrix, through your literal embodiment. Embodiment is not just something that you can understand intellectually and spout about. It's when your actual field is producing a new reality that it disrupts the old one so much that you can't even fucking be in it anymore. And that will directly launch into your scarcity. If you still have scarcity programs and fear programs, that'll launch you right into that. And then you're going to have to digest and fucking dig into that. Because then you're going to want to... Do you know how many times we make decisions based on scarcity and fear and we sacrifice for survival, our soul's truth and alignment? And recently I've been realizing that a lot of that isn't even ours, the survivalism. It's just cellular. And then when you start finally meeting it and clearing out, it becomes less and less and less present. And you're like, oh, okay. Oh, like, this isn't true. Because think about it, like, the system we live in has been created. Gaia, underneath that system, around that system, above that system, is the truth. What is Gaia? She's abundant. There's no lack. Like, we literally grew up thinking that we had the same 7 and 12 fruits and vegetables. I'm pretty sure we live in Avatar. Like, every time even just going to Florida, like, a couple of winters ago, I was like, I've never seen this fruit before in my life. Like, it's just, the scarcity it's a created system to keep our souls trapped. Because if we're sacrificing for survival, perceived survival, then we don't have space to evolve and live our soul's truth. Okay, let me see. I'm going to wrap this up. My notes. Oh, and this is like why I'm called too much, or like not even that people actually call me too much. It's just that they treat me like I'm too much. Too much. They're like, oh, to be in this person's presence demands that I'm responsible and truthful with myself. And most people's lives are built on a mask. So you'd think that's not a big deal. But I realize now, looking back at my life, like, me saying yes to this journey has been yes to the demolishing and destruction of all my illusions. So, but it's good. We need this. We need this, guys. And yeah, we've just built whole communities around bypassing and around comfort and false safety, which is not what we need. Yeah, but anyways, I realize now that after spending in a lifetime of trying to belong and not understanding, why don't I belong? Why am I rejected? Like, and I say this sarcastically now, but fuck, man, it has been hard for a soft, sensitive soul that was raised to believe something was very wrong with me. It's not been easy, but now I'm a fucking badass. And I know you are too. And that's why I'm here, because I'm opening this space now, after years of deprogramming unworthiness codes, to show how to be the pillar of coherence, right? Okay, because my body, my physical body, is the pillar between heaven and earth. And I don't mean that in some far distant way. And I've said this before, so if you've been here for a while, you might know this, but I always say that hell guards the gates of heaven for a reason. I do not think hell is bad. I think it serves its purpose. I even have fun there sometimes. The whole point of being human is to become accepting and embodying the paradox of life, the light and the dark, the hell and the heaven. And the reason why hell guards the gates of heaven is because there be people out here, there be entities out here that are trying to get to heaven without doing the fucking work, okay? And especially through highly coded women, because women are naturally these portals, okay? And so going through hell gives you the keys to open heaven, okay? You can't avoid it. You have to meet where you are in hell in an effective way, in a truthful way, to be able to access the blueprint for heaven, to bring it here. So myself, my body in itself, is producing a new reality because of the work I've done. It isn't just like this idea that I had. It is, I have done the inhabitation in where my energy field is that now. And walking around in a world that is highly built on illusion and falsity, I'm like a walking Neo, okay? And you can be too, and we need more of you. Yeah, but if this resonates, feel free to share it. If this resonates and you feel called to work with me one-on-one, please reach out. I want to work with where people are at, I'm not trying to have this stuff be inaccessible. I also am not like the forever solution. I am here to help you walk through the dark and to see in the dark and to find the tools and to navigate the dark so that you can live like this coherently, and so that your reality can change and that you start actually reflecting situations that can value you and respect you and love you and not just exist in these fucking parasitical paradigms. And yeah, let's just stop pretending that truth is cruelty. It's not. It's the first act of love. Okay. Peace.